Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very late July TBR. I'm kind of nervous because I'm filming this a little bit late. It's July 10th, so I have 3 more weeks left and I've only read 2 books so far. And I know it's not a competition, but there's 3 buddy reads that I'm doing and 2 readathons, so I'm very behind currently. So without further ado, let's get into the books that I plan on reading this month. I'm going to be giving very brief summaries because I'm going to give more detail during my wrap-ups. So the first 2 books that I plan on reading are for my buddy reads. The first book is Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste, and I don't really know much about this book, but I know it's revolving 2 families and their conflicting ways of life. One's more kind of with the status quo, another one's more free-spirited. So I know there's a show on Hulu about it, and I'm really interested to see what all the hype is about. The second book I've been wanting to read is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I have heard so many good things about this book, and I'm so excited to read it. This is basically a nonfiction memoir of Michelle Obama's life, and I'm so pumped to read it. Can we just talk about how fire this cover is? This book is actually bigger than I thought it was going to be, but I like that they have pictures in the middle. The next 7 books I'm going to be reading is for the Reading Rush, and I'm really excited, guys, because I haven't done a readathon before, so this is going to be my first time, and for those who don't know, this basically takes place for a week in July, and there's 7 different prompts, so I tried to challenge myself as much as possible. So I'm crossing my fingers hoping that I can get this done. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, so let's just get into it. So the first prompt is to read a book with the same color as your birthstone. I thought that was really interesting. I like challenges like that. It's kind of more outside of the box. And my birthstone is a tourmaline, which is like a neon pink, so I chose to read The Henna Wars by Adiba, Jaigirdar. I'm really sorry if I butchered that, I'm sure I did. But basically, this book is an LGBTQ+ romance between an Indian and Black girl who are competing with their henna art. It looks like a very cute, heartwarming read, so I'm really excited. The second prompt is to read a book that starts with the word the. So for this book, I chose to read The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. And this is a middle grade novel about a town that leaves a baby as an offering to a witch in the forest every year. And this witch is actually really kind-hearted, and she gives these children away to welcoming families on the opposite side of the forest, until one day this baby drinks moonlight, which is supposed to make them magical, and the witch decides to adopt this baby. And it just sounds like a really cute read, and I'm really excited. Honestly, I love middle grade novels, and I definitely want to get back into reading more of them. The next prompt is to read a book that inspired a movie that you've already seen. So for this, the only book that met the criteria is Me Before You by Jojo Meyes. And for those who don't know, this is about a woman who becomes a care assistant for a man who is paraplegic, and she tries to show him the positive and happy things in life. I actually started reading this earlier this month, and I couldn't really get into it, so I put it down. But I only read the first chapter, so I definitely want to give this another chance and see how it goes. The next prompt is to read the first book that you touch. I chose to take 3 books that I was interested in reading and put it in a random number generator. So for this challenge, I ended up getting The House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Cragg, and this is basically a dark horror version of the 12 Dancing Princesses. Basically, sisters keep dying in tragic ways, and one of the sisters wants to find out if it's really all accidental or if there's murders involved. I love fairy tales of any kind, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to spin this. The next prompt is to read a book completely outside of your house. This is going to be really easy because for half of Reading Rush Week, my boyfriend's family and I are going to be visiting a family friend's cabin, and we're going to be indoors all the time without Wi-Fi, so I'm going to have a lot of time to read, and I'm not going to be in my house. So for this book, I chose to read Untamed, which I just realized I forgot to mention as the 3rd buddy read I'm going to be doing. And I'm actually doing this buddy read with my boyfriend's mom. She's the absolute sweetest, and she recommended this book. She wanted to read it. So from what I understand, it's basically a memoir and self-help book into one about finding yourself. I don't really know what else it's about, but that's the beauty of going on a blind date with a book. Also, just so you guys know really quick, I'm going to be doing a July reading vlog where I'm taking you guys on all my adventures and also kind of showing you guys my reading progress. So let me know if that is something you're interested in seeing. The next prompt is to read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. This for me was easy because I really haven't read many graphic novels and or manga, if any, and I don't know why, because it's literally combining my love for pictures with a story. The book that I'm choosing to read is Heartstopper by Osman, and this is actually a series. And this is an LGBTQ plus swoon-worthy romance between two high school boys. And I've heard so much about this series, and I just want to jump on the hype bandwagon. So we'll see how it goes. I think also this is going to be a great kind of in-between segment between more of my heavier books. Just because I have very high empathy, and reading about dark things just generally kind of bring me down, if that makes any sense. But I think this is going to be a really cute read that's just going to make my heart happy. The final reading rush prompt is to read a book that takes place on a different continent from where you live. For me, I chose Crazy Rich Asians by Kwan. It's a romance about a Taiwanese American girl who falls in love with this crazy rich Singaporean man. And I'm not going to go into it, but I'll tell you about my thoughts in my July wrap-up, so stay tuned. Next and final readathon that I will be participating in the month of July is the Full Metal Readathon. I'm really excited because I watched the full anime late last year with my boyfriend, and it was super good and gave me all the feels. It's super fun to see a readathon take on this fantastic series. It makes me want to create something like this too. So if you guys are interested in the Doctor Who readathon, that might be something that I want to create. So let me know in the comments down below if that's something that you would be down to participate in. Also, really quick, I'm going to be including all the readathon details in my description box below. So check it out if you're interested. And let me know if you are participating, because the first prompt for this is training. Read a book where the character has to travel elsewhere to achieve their goal. For me, I chose to read Dark Witch by Nora. I'm not really sure what this is about, but I know that this is a trilogy about a woman who travels to Ireland and potentially finds a pirate love interest. I'm not really sure. I know there's fantasy involved. It's been on my shelf for years. I received it as a present, and I just haven't even opened the book. So I'm excited to see where this goes. The next prompt is Human Transmutation. Read a book that had a cover revamp. For this, I chose to use a book for my Reading Rush challenge, Me Before You, because as you could see, my book had the movie cover edition instead of the original paperback. The next prompt is Secrets. Read a book where a character has to disguise themselves into a secret identity. So for this book, I chose To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo, and this is basically a dark retelling of The Little Mermaid. It's about a siren princess who basically does something bad, and she's banished to become a human until she can kill and bring the heart of a prince back to her kingdom. This is really interesting. Like I said, I love my fairy tales, so I'm really excited to see how this goes. The next prompt is Truth, A Time of Starting Over, which means starting a new series or read a standalone. Pretty much, I'm gonna apply every single book in my July TBR to that, because I'm starting Heartstoppers, I'm starting Dark Witch, I'm starting Crazy Rich Asians, those are all series, and I'm starting a lot of standalones. The next prompt that I have is Captured, and it's described as doubts about self, a character that doesn't know themselves, for example, an orphan or coming into powers or whatever. So for this, I'm going to be using another Reading Rush book, the Henna Wars, because the protagonist is confused about if she should be what her family wants her to be or if she should follow her love and happiness. The next prompt is Battle with Homunculi. Read a book that has a theme of at least one deadly sin. Could be lust, could be gluttony, etc. So for this, I chose to read Snow Falling by Jane Villanueva. Jane the Virgin fans, I would highly recommend picking this up. It seems like the TV show, I guess, made a book that Jane actually wrote in the series. They published it. And it takes place in the 1900s in Miami, based on Jane's real life story. I'm not going to give spoilers, but this book has the sin lust in it. The final prompt is to regain what is lost. Pick a book with one or more of the following themes: found self, found item, found family. For this, I chose another reading rush book. Guys, I have so many books on my reading TBR. I have to kind of group some of these challenges together. I'm sorry. I chose Untamed because from what I gather, this memoir details the author's journey to self-discovery, and she encourages you to find your journey to self-discovery. So it definitely fits the criteria, pretty spot on. Thank you guys so much for sticking around if you made it through this entire video. That was a mouthful for me. Fingers crossed I'm able to get through these because, guys, I took a 4 to 5 reading year gap and I'm so behind in my books. I need to catch up. I need to catch up on all these books that everyone's been raving about for the past 4 to 5 years because I'm really behind. If you guys were to see my all-time TBR and book wish list, there's 300 to 400 books at least on that list. So I have a long way to go. So wish me luck. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to hit the like or subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. I've decided that I'm going to try to post on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys in the next video. Bye!